My name is Lisa DeRussell. I am a professor of landscape architecture at the Pennsylvania State University. I'm also a practitioner in residence, and I am here with my colleague Dan Meehan from the Geodesign program at Penn State to talk about a really awesome collaboration that we have done in State College to start to think about how we can both merge the idea of landscape architecture and the traditional, more analog tools built into community engagement, aka charrette, drawing, all that good stuff, with what we have learned through our Geodesign program. So we think that this is a really great, fabulous relationship. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell you how we use Geodesign to prioritize community desires for a project in State College, shown here, called Musser Gap to Valley Lands, or the MG2V project. We're going to touch on a handful of things today, give you a background of the project, talk a little bit about our process, how we were able to negotiate amongst students, amongst community members, amongst university department leadership, and then talk about final steps and where we're going from here. So if you guys aren't familiar, Penn State is located in State College, Pennsylvania, located smack dab in the center of central PA. You can see here that it's located in a really unique ecosystem. So we are right in the center of the Ridge and Valley. And so at the foothills of the Appalachians, much of the land here, we're very separated from Pittsburgh, from New York City, from Philadelphia. Most major cities are either 3 to 4 hours away. Here is an oblique of our study area. Again, the MG2V area outlined in red. Ultimately, what's unique about our site is that we are very close to the suburban growth of the university, but also very close to Rothrock National Forest just to the south. So you can see that pretty much on all sides is primary agricultural farmland, and running through the middle of our site is Slab Cabin Run, which is about a 7-day traverse down to the Chesapeake Bay. And it's also located directly adjacent to some of the drinking water wells where State College gets their drinking water. So a little bit of background on our project. This project was basically brought to the landscape architecture department directly from the president of the university himself, Eric Barron. His vision was really to look at this site, 355 acres owned by the university, currently used for agriculture, and think about how we might treat it in the future over time. He really saw this as a way to start to outline his values, thinking about where we could preserve and protect local water supply, how we could protect plant and animal species and really enhance biodiversity, and also create a place where people could enjoy nature and learn about the environment. Ultimately, you see his quote here, "Together we can create a lasting community resource." As I mentioned, the property is about 355 acres, university owned, and the Musser Gap Greenway connects through the center of the site. Currently, it's agricultural, primarily conventional use, soybeans, corn, and I had already mentioned the unique location being right next to the aquifer for State College. We also cross a number of municipal boundaries. You'll see here we're right next to the borough of State College, but we also cross 2 different townships, creating a unique setting for municipal boundaries. Of course, what is a geodesign project without some kind of contention, right? So before Dr. Eric Barron became the president of the university, the prior president had sold off a piece of property to Toll Brothers, developer in the region, to develop some luxury student housing. Because of the proximity to water recharge, and because that this development was located outside of State College's urban growth boundary, there was just a public outcry. People were sitting in, people were camping on site because they did not want this growth to occur. They wanted the farmland to remain agriculture, and they wanted to try and think about better ways to grow the community in areas that might be more suitable, not in an area right next to the public aquifer, or the public water wells. So you can see here our site, you can see the new Toll Brothers development, and you can see a new regional park that the State College Borough has proposed. In general, our process was twofold. Again, treating the site from a very kind of landscape architectural perspective, doing a deep site analysis to understand history, context, current use, but then also starting to study systems, thinking about view sheds, thinking about water infrastructure, green infrastructure. The second phase was mostly rooted in community engagement. So we started with a listening session, just so everyone could come in, look at maps, and really tell us their thoughts about the site. This was our first foray into community engagement. And again, this was a process. We wanted to make sure that we gave the community numerous ways to talk to us. So it wasn't just community engagement, it wasn't just these meetings. We also integrated a geodesign process, which we've run multiple times using Geodesignhub, which Dan will describe. But we also used an online community survey where we had over 1,000 respondents talk to us about what they saw for this property. Ultimately, 3 themes arose from our stakeholder visioning sessions: an idea of habitat creation, water resource protection, and also integrating passive recreation and ag preservation into the project. So Dan will now talk about the Geodesignhub Workshop and the geodesign process.
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, so just to quickly go through this, we use Geodesignhub to help with the negotiation process. How can we figure out what's going to be best? How can we appease the community? Like Lisa said, we got all the information from the surveys, the stakeholder interviews, but we evaluated the systems for their suitability for change. We took all the information that we got from those meetings. We had the students digitize information, add them as diagrams into the tool, and then we put them into change teams, and each of them with creating designs that would that kind of best fit their needs, and then kind of figured out where do those designs align, where are they compatible, which diagrams were chosen the most, and they came out with 5 essential themes here. This was ideas that they presented to the community with the president involved as well. So we iterated then from there. We took that same, we did 2 full reports for each semester, but from there we took all that information. So we had our policies that we wanted to enact, we had the major ideas and kind of the sub-ideas, and then we kind of iterated. So we took all that information that we had and we worked with the actual decision makers. We worked with the vice presidents from all these different areas, and sat down with the president. They chose what they wanted to see. We took all the projects, and so after that, where do we have agreement? From the actual leaders, the people who are going to make the decisions, where is the agreement? Which projects also meet the values? And that helped us kind of rate and weight to group the ideas together. What are the most important? And then kind of we dug in. We went to GeoPlanner and created all the land use types that we had ready, did the Likert scale for land use impact, but also tied it back to those values, those initial values that the president laid forward. How will changes on the land affect those values? And so we had it all into GeoPlanner. We had a bunch of dashboards. We were able to see, look at the different scenarios. And now that's kind of where we are now. It's an RFP that's out right now. It's being bid on to implement and design these 7 ideas that will take place on the land. So. Thank you very much.